Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for listening to the McJeffrey 500, the podcast where I count down my 500 favorite movies and make my friends watch them one film at a time. My name is Jeff. It is January 22nd, 2015, and my co-host this week, in her first appearance, is Lily. Hi, Brat.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm lovely this evening.
Lies.
Of course, I did completely forget about this, so I apologize.
She's got her priorities all where they need to be. Podcast afterthought. Because she's too cool for school. I understand. I try not to take it too personally. But I was sitting here. I had my setup. I was ready. I was like, all right, here we go. And I'm like, I'm calling and nobody's answering the phone. Which is, so it's kind of your thing. You don't have the phone on you 24/7, unlike a lot of people. So if the phone's off or on silent, that is completely normalsville as far as Lily goes. But I was just more concerned that she was okay. So concerned that I got in my car and I drove over there to go remind her that she had a podcast to do.
I pretty much shit on my doorstep when I opened it. Shit! I gotta go!
Yeah. First she gave me that look of, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, what? And then I just had to say...
What day is it? What year is it?
It is 2015, and this is your first podcast official. And welcome. You're the last one. We finally got around to getting to you.
Well, thank you for not forgetting.
Oh, hey. At least I didn't forget.
I know.
Shit. Okay, so at this point, what we've been doing lately, as of like the last podcast lately, is we've been discussing what did we see lately, what have you seen lately, and what have I seen lately, and we compare notes and we share stories and blah 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 blah. And before we reveal what the movie we are watching today, would you like to go first or shall I?
You shall.
I shall. All right. So, a couple of releases came out this week. Two that I actually really wanted to see. One, American Sniper, which is actually nominated for an Oscar for this.
Oh yeah, I saw that as well.
Oh, well, don't ruin it for me, because I'm still planning on seeing it. But
fuck, I thought you saw it.
No, I did not see it, but still, please, speak on it. And I also wanted to see the Paddington movie, because, I had a Paddington bear as a young child, and it holds a special place in my heart.
Actually, it should be in the closet.
Perhaps. But it's also an excuse to get my niece, do so with my niece, and because she's 6, and there's only so much a grown man can do with a 6-year-old without getting arrested. That came out completely wrong.
Too far.
Completely wrong. I'm sorry. Rewind that. Edit it out. Whatever. Gonna do it.
No, that's gotta stay.
No, basically, because I'm too lazy about editing. As long as it stays within my parameters, time-wise. Okay, where was I getting at? Here's where I was getting at. I didn't see Paddington. I did not see American Sniper. What I did see was the new Kevin Hart film, The Wedding Ringer. Now, this is generally a movie I would not go out of my way to see. But, rewind a week ago, I had advanced screening passes to go see this movie. And a young lady who I am friendly with...
Say no more. I understand.
Okay. So, making the sacrifice for the quality of the company, so on and so forth. She's obviously never been to an advanced screening because she showed up about 20 minutes before showtime, and basically, if you don't get there, I'm going to say basically a couple times. Basically, if you don't get there about an hour and a half before the movie begins, it's going to sell out on you, because free movies are coveted by people who don't like to spend money on movies. That's a deep thought. And I knew this. She did not. So I was in line by myself. I made phone calls. I was preoccupied with other things, but she didn't show up. So bummed out. Live and learn.
All alone.
We did. Well, I didn't stay in the theater, so I just got out of line because I knew she wasn't going to make it. We hung out in the food court, and we talked. It was fine. But we made an agreement to, you know what? When the movie comes out next weekend, we'll go see it. We'll try it again. Like, yay. All right. So, cut to last Wednesday. I finally actually see the movie. This time I'm actually paying money to see it. It's not very good. The premise, this feels like a movie where the premise was like somebody was at a table, like, you know what people like? People like wedding movies.
Yeah. Wedding movies, right?
Yeah.
With the white gowns.
Yeah. You know what? They like that romantic crap. Let's think of a movie. What when you think of weddings, what do you think of? I think of groomsmen. I think of brides. I think of rings. Rings, good. Wedding rings. Wedding ring the bell. Wedding ringer.
Cake, no rings.
Rings.
Stay on rings.
We're staying on rings. Wedding ringer. Wedding ringer. Could that be a thing?
That's a ringer.
All right. So somebody came up with the title. I feel like it's a movie like you came up with the title first and then built the movie around it. Wedding ringer. What's a wedding ringer? Well, a wedding ringer is a guy who is a best man for hire for people who don't have any friends.
Tell me more.
They have no friends, and therefore they hire this guy to become their best man, so their wives-to-be don't think that they're
lame
and pathetic. And, you know, this could happen. This could be real life. This is stupid. Stupid premise. Not first of all, all right, you know what? I could spend a whole podcast just dissecting what...
I noticed.
Well, yes. I'm going off on a tangent.
I feel your passion.
So basically, you can forgive a lot of things as long as the movie's actually funny. And it is not very funny.
Hits a wall.
It's rough, because I really like Kevin Hart. And around this time last year, he was in a movie called About Last Night, which I actually really enjoyed. He wasn't the star, he was kind of a co-star, which I think helped, because Kevin Hart works better in doses than as a leading man, in my humble opinion. So, this movie was ridiculous. Premise is ridiculous. The jokes are very sophomoric.
Blasé.
Very predictable. A lot of the best moments, quote unquote, were in the trailer. So if the trailer did not make you goof off, then the rest of the movie is not going to do much for you. So I saw that. So I have an early contender for worst movie I've seen 2015. So sorry. Sorry, Kevin Hart. Better luck next time. Next time. It's next time, Kevin Hart.
Nice.
It's not next time. We're going with next time. Next time, Kevin Hart, you're in that Will Ferrell movie. That might be good, but who knows? I probably won't see that one. Anyway, that's what I saw. I also, just a quick, how much time I got? All right. Basically, I saw Boyhood with my nephew and my sister. Read it. They enjoyed it. That was awesome. It's my favorite movie of last year. And I saw Birdman with my mom, because we see all the Best Picture nominees every year. We've been doing that since 1997. She said it was interesting in a good way, which is better than the alternative, I suppose. So, and I enjoyed Birdman a great deal myself. So, that's what I saw. Passing the ball to you.
I don't know if I can be as descriptive.
Please.
I kind of just bummed it after I saw Blackhat.
Alright, you saw Blackhat, so you saw the new Thor movie.
God, it was so terrible.
Okay, so it's Michael Mann, who's actually a director who's done good stuff, but apparently this was not one of them. What's it about? Can you give me a nutshell?
It didn't know what it wanted to be. It was
Okay.
it was kind of like a, I don't know. It was really mixed up, really indecisive. It didn't know if it wanted to be a action movie or a romantic movie, and it really just kind of irritated me. But I liked the artsy shots that they threw in, but it kind of confused you as a viewer. Being a visual artist, it kind of pisses you off.
Yeah.
When there's water splashing on the camera, and it's like, it's not a fucking documentary here.
Ooh. So were the action scene, if the movie played as a straight action, do you feel it would have been more successful?
It would have been a terrible action movie, but it would have been an action movie nonetheless.
Okay.
It would have known its own identity.
So the movie has an identity crisis.
Absolutely.
And is it Chris Hemsworth? Is he the lead? He plays what? Was he a hacker? What is he? What is his role? What does he do? how do we stop him? Or do we help him? Or does he help us? I don't even know. I know very little about this movie. Who wears the black hat?
There's no Blackhat.
Oh.
That was the really disappointing part.
I would say
Actually, there was about 1,000 of those. But it's just the irony of the movie.
I was going to say, I got excited when you said about 1,000 black hats. You were like, you lead me on. But no, just 1,000 terrible moments.
You know, that never occurred to me once, and it really should have. But where the fuck is the black hat? If I ever am forced to watch it again, which, please, no, I'm going to look for black hats now.
All right. Well, you look so I don't have to. Michael, like I said, Michael Mann's done good films. He did Heat. That was the De Niro Pacino. He did The Insider, which I love. And he's done Collateral, where Tom Cruise was a hitman. Those are all solid films. I guess this one, not so much. Well, good to know.
Not really. It was just like fucking Thor. There is water glistening off his chest, and there's guns going off, and now he's in love with this Chinese chick. I don't know. That's actually not politically correct. She's probably not Chinese, but she's a very dainty, lovely, delicate woman that he falls in love with, who's also kind of a badass. Really confusing.
She's probably a ninja.
Probably.
All Asians are. I know this for a fact. You think...
the more you know.
Do you think Asians, if you assume all Asians know martial arts, do you think they find that insulting? Because it's kind of cool. It's like, you know karate. It's like, like an African American male. You obviously have a gigantic dick. You think they're offended by these stereotypes? That are actually kind of cool.
I think they like half of them.
Okay.
50-50. If I was a black dude, I would love to have a giant penis.
But you feel bad for the black dude that actually doesn't have the giant penis.
I was disappointed once.
Oh.
There was that one time.
I think you may have even mentioned it, but not on a podcast, and nor are we going to do that right now.
No.
All right, enough said. You also saw something else? You saw something with an American in it. With a gun.
Yeah.
Doing stuff.
American Sniper.
You saw The Sniper. Was that a better movie?
I'm not going to comment too much on it. I want you to really watch it for yourself.
I really am going to watch it.
And I know the podcast is meant for discussing movies, but let's just say I have a lot more respect for the military.
Okay. Is it better than Blackhat?
By far.
Okay, that's a rousing endorsement. Woo! All right. Well, you know what? See? You see movies. I see movies. You're the right person for this job. I think I did the right thing by bringing you on. Right. So,
sorry about this if you're listening.
No. They should be thanking you. All right. So we're about to start. I got the movie over here. It's right in my hand.
He's lying.
That's me.
Could be anything.
That's me jacking off, apparently. Oh.
Wasn't going to go there, but fine.
Yeah. You never say anything.
You got a paper dick, apparently.
A man with a paper dick.
Why does it always go back to that?
That's the name of the podcast right there. Man with a paper dick. I'm writing that down right now.
And he really is.
All right. Sometimes.
Can't forget that.
No, absolutely not. Exclamation
That's
point.
going in the dictionary.
Ooh. Crumble it up. Crumple. It's crumple. You don't crumble paper. You crumple it. Okay, so generally I read the description of the movie that we're about to watch, but this description actually has a spoiler in it, so I'm going to cut out that part. Netflix gone down fucked up, so we're going to just get around that. But...
What are we watching? I'm so excited!
Okay,
let's do it.
Okay.
You going to tell me? I've been waiting for like a week, a month,
a
year, 2 years, a year? No, back to a year. No, back to a month.
Yeah, probably.
Tell me now!
All right. You are very loud. Very loud. No, loud's better than quiet. I've learned this. This moving documentary depicts a fateful day in June 2000 when a Rio de Janeiro bus carrying 12 passengers was hijacked by a man named Sandro, I can pronounce this right, de Sas e Alimento. I believe I said that wrong. Right, yes. Cameras rolled as he touted his plans to kill all aboard, but was finally persuaded to give himself up. This is where the spoiler is. Take that part out. Details of the Saucy Alimento's very troubled childhood are also featured. We are about to watch a movie called Bus 174. And before we start that movie, I got you a snack.
It better not be fucking raisins.
Yes, I presented her with raisins when we did the test podcast. This is better than raisins.
Rat turrets.
Since this movie takes place in Brazil, it's only fitting.
You're gonna get me worms, aren't you? I don't want worms.
Oh, we'll see what happens.
Mangoes!
Brazil nuts.
Ah!
And I gotta tell you right now, I got 9 ounces of Brazil nuts from the Whole Foods. $8. It's ridiculous. These things better change your life.
They will.
Okay.
They're meaty Brazil nuts.
The results of that trial after the movie.
I don't know if they're gonna last. They're delicious.
Alright. We'll be right back.
On the streets of Rio de Janeiro, Sandro de Nascimento took Bus 174 hostage with only a pistol. In the media frenzy that followed, everyone's story was told. The hostages, the captain, the shooters, everyone's but Sandro's.
We have returned. We have finished Bus 174.
Stop talking like that.
How would you like me to talk?
Not like that.
Would you like me to talk like this?
I kind of like that.
Alright. We're back. We just finished watching Bus 174. Oh, what'd you think of it,
How do you want me to talk?
Yeah. Like me.
Like you?
Yeah.
I kinda like this voice, never mind.
Oh, wow. That was very high-pitched in my ear. Alright. So we just watched the documentary. We just watched the documentary. Alright, right now you're picking at your nuts right now. How do you enjoy a raw Brazil nut?
They kind of look like toes.
They taste like...
Grilled cheese.
Where do you get the grilled cheese from?
I don't know. It's kind of cheesy. I don't know, a little buttery. Definitely buttery.
Alright, a buttery nut. Alright, well you can take those home with you.
Good. I'll eat them all.
Put them in your salad, even though they're kind of big for salad.
Put them in my nose.
Those are perfect nostril-sized nuts. Nostril-sized nuts.
Anyways, let's get to the point here.
Alright, so we just watched Bus 174. It's a documentary based in Rio de Janeiro, that's in Brazil. A young street kid, actually I guess he's a young man at this point, basically it's a robbery on a bus gone wrong. Basically, he gets on the bus, tries to rob the passengers, and the police show up. So now it goes from being a simple robbery to a complicated hostage takeover. And he's way over his head, but due to the fact that there's a lot of video cameras recording the situation, he takes advantage of it.
That synopsis isn't correct. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like to correct me?
It's supposed to be one of your favorite films, and you didn't get it.
No, I'm setting the table. I'm not done talking.
Okay, fine. I'll let you finish.
Man, just eat your nuts.
I will. I'll eat some nuts.
Put the
If
nuts.
you're anyone else, I would have punched you by now.
No, you wouldn't have. Well, maybe you will.
No.
Alright, stop nomming. Alright. But that's basically the setup. But what the movie is essentially about and why I respond to it is it's not basically a expose on a robbery gone wrong. It's a documentary that goes into the story of how did we get to this point? Who is this guy? Why is he on the bus? Why has it come to this? And you find out that he's not so unique. He's what I believe, lack of a better term, is considered a street kid. Basically grew up in the slums of Rio. In his case, his mother was... didn't know it was dad. His mother was killed violently in front of him at age 6 while she was 5 months pregnant with child. And he basically did not take it well. And
that one really it broke me up a little bit inside.
Yeah.
Like, I knew that his mother was killed in front of him, but to find out that the babies were suffocating inside of her.
That's what happens. Yeah, no oxygen, so the heart stops pumping and the baby stops living.
The aunt thought her sister was still alive because the babies were moving around because they were suffocating inside of her stomach.
Which is a disturbing and sad thought. And very, very true, unfortunately. So he basically gets away from... Basically, he runs away because he doesn't want to be anywhere near where this tragedy happened. He becomes basically a homeless, naive kid. Learns on the streets, learns how to hustle, hangs with the wrong people.
Sniffing glue. Lots of glue sniffings. I'm sorry, that's the only funny part of this whole film.
He does develop a drug habit. On good days, he has cocaine. The other days, he has glue. And just a little side note, I as a young child, not knowing it was a bad thing, I was a bit of a glue sniffer myself.
That explains a lot.
Shut it all up. Third grade, I would hang around the glue, and I liked the feeling it gave me when I...
Really now?
Yes, it was straight up Elmer, so it was the good stuff.
I'm so proud of you.
And I learned later that, yeah, that's like huffing, and that's killing brain cells, and that's not good for you.
You know what? They should also stop making scented markers.
Some of them smell delicious.
Absolutely. The grape ones, the grape and the orange always smell the best. Cherry,
Well, it's like that generic cherry smell. You know how things like, this is what cherries smell like. Like, no, you've never smelled a cherry in your life. It's like watermelon.
It's like cough syrup.
It's like, this cough syrup tastes like cherry, said no one ever who ever actually had a cherry. Like, watermelon flavored things and watermelons never, ever, never mesh. But what was I getting at? So yeah, basically it goes back, it kind of explains his story and the story of many kids like him that don't really even have a chance when they're out on the streets hustling, making their way with a system that's wholly corrupt, a police department that's inept and ironically unlawful, that will this it's interesting that they note in the documentary people become police officers in Rio because they can't get real jobs anywhere else, which is scary because that means
desperate people
here,
desperate for jobs.
Here, have a gun. Here, go execute some justice, so to speak. And the police officers, as you see in this film, while the hostage situation going on, are completely and utterly useless. They, first of all,
might as well be mannequins.
They do absolutely. There's nothing that happens in this movie through the duration of the whole hostage crisis. The police did nothing Nothing.
I mean, he literally sticks his head out. Sorry, I'm talking probably really loud.
No, it's all right. Go ahead.
He literally sticks his head out of the bus multiple times with the hostages being completely covered by the bus. Sheltered.
Yes.
And they didn't take a shot. They didn't even try. They didn't even discuss it, probably.
Well, that was the thing. Somebody just entered the room. Oh.
Hello, Marjorie.
Hello.
We are recording from my mother's home. My mother has arrived. Keep it down, mother. Okay. Anyway, what was I getting at? Oh.
Cold.
No, I just like
Get
being...
colder.
What? Perks of living at Mom's house. You're the best.
My mom just hooked us up with McFlurries.
God, I haven't had one of these in forever.
Alright, hold on, I gotta take a picture.
Woot! Oreo.
Alright.
Thank you.
Alright.
I'll turn the heat up for you, sweetie.
She doesn't want the heat. Alright. We're getting off topic. Okay. So, how do you feel about the film as a whole? Or as a film, even? First, give me your opinion of it as a whole.
There are some holes in it that would like to be explained further.
Okay.
I think you could have taken off 40 minutes from it because there were so many camera angles like we were discussing during the film. It's kind of a disappointment that we can't actually have the microphone on while the film is on because we say some pretty good shit sometimes that we can never repeat here.
It's well, next week, not to get ahead of ourselves, we're going to have the group podcast where we will actually have a mic on as we are watching the movie in real time. Which maybe that magic will show up, but we have magic right now. We got McFlurries in front of us.
McFlurrying it up. Woot!
It's like magic. Magic just came through the door and gave you ice cream yumminess.
I feel like the universe is really rewarding me right now.
I think you should put some Brazil nuts in your McFlurry.
I will. I'll stick some Brazilian toes in here.
Good times. So you feel the movie was overlong? I could definitely say that the scene at the end, basically when he finally gets off the bus, and we'll get to what sadly happens in a second, they show so many different angles at such slow motions, basically letting every talking head in the movie that came up prior kind of get their say and their feelings of the opinions of what happens. Now what essentially happens is he kills nobody on the bus. He threatens to kill many people. He actually pretends to kill one person at one point, but does not go through with it. He does get off the bus with a hostage, pointed, and, basically to protect himself. Out of nowhere, as he's backing up, a soldier with a semi-automatic weapon runs in his general direction, point-blank range.
Misses, by the way.
Not only misses him, but manages to shoot the hostage in the face.
In the face.
Wow. Meanwhile, hostage is probably, I'm saved. No, I'm shot in the face. Oh, here's 3 more bullets, because now he's falling down, because of the whole skirmish.
Might as well shoot her now.
Yeah, well,
I think it was more of just a reaction.
Oh, no, I don't think like I said, it's a reflex at that point. I'm screwed. My finger's been on the trigger the whole time.
I've got an itch, I gotta go.
He knows he's gonna die. And might as well teach everybody a lesson. I don't think he really wanted to kill someone, but they forced his hand.
This documentary doesn't say that whatsoever. Doesn't have anyone that really goes on his side. Except for the hostages, which is kind of ironic. And they say that he really wasn't going to kill anyone. And the only reason that she was mad at him is because he ended up killing her in the end. But I don't really think it was him that killed her.
No, if he didn't, unload his gun, I mean, she may very well have died from the head wound by the inept officer.
But really, that's beside the point.
It is.
And this poor boy, I mean, my heart goes out for him and all the other kids, the invisible kids of the street. Mm-hmm. And anyone else that's homeless or stuck in that kind of situation and that wants to desperately get out fighting. I mean, he was thrown into that situation when he was a baby, basically.
Yeah.
And no one else taught him, including his aunt. No one until he was older, already messed up, or he was perma-fried, basically.
Yeah.
Already sniffing enough glue. No one helped him.
No
one offered a hand, and thus he was thrust into further situations and felt desperate enough to rob a bus, and wasn't even really robbing it. He was really using his medium, which is his voice, which was fried at that time, to say help.
Yeah. And, I mean, but the thing is, and also part of the tragedy is, there were people who would have helped him. I mean, yes, the cards were definitely stacked against him, but he was a part of that Catholic college thing. I forget what they call it, but he was, part of a group, like this dance troupe group that were taking, he was there for a couple of years, and they seemed to be going in the right direction. A lot of street kids became former street kids after being, associated with it, but you're right, he was just too, drug-addled at that point that he...
Drug-addled and traumatized from seeing his mother die.
Yes. And
at a really young age.
Yeah, so that's something you just don't get over. And he probably needed a lot of psychiatric help, which there's no way he was getting that on the streets of Rio.
I mean, whatever his story was, it's kind of irrelevant. It's really just the roundabout. It's everyone in that situation was royally fucked. And it's not just in Rio de Janeiro. Rio de Janeiro, sorry, my tongue's frozen from the McFlurry now. It's all around the world.
This one.
And we just don't see it. We don't talk about it. It's taboo. And this documentary definitely should be shown. I wish it was kind of redone in a way that it wasn't so annoyingly done, but that's okay. Still, I think people should still see it because it points something out.
It definitely does. It's
a flawed system.
And as imperfect as American living is, and we have our own invisible children.
We're fucking McFlurries. We're okay.
We're okay because we got McFlurries, but not everybody has McFlurries, and that's just a sad fact. We're living in a world where people don't even have running water. They don't have Brazil nuts.
I've said this quote so many times, but
well, have you said it on this podcast?
Probably not. At least maybe on the test one. If the poor is ill-educated and their man is corrupted from infancy, then what else is there to conclude?
You're asking me. Or is that rhetorical?
But that situation that he was in, it really did. That's going to really resonate in my brain for the next probably year. I'll probably end up doing some art pieces spun off of it because it's just...
So it affected you
I think that I was the right person to watch that documentary.
I figured. Essentially I didn't pick the order of these movies that are coming out, but I didn't necessarily want to start with quote unquote a downer, but I think this movie would have resonated with you a lot better than, say, other certain co-hosts. There's a reason why Rob watched Critters and you watched Bus 174. You could have easily watched the movie about the space monsters, but...
Well, damn. I could have watched Space Monsters instead of kids having their heads smashed in with a rock.
You know who? Space monsters don't get McFlurries either. Maybe that's why they're so upset.
Yeah, probably.
I think we found the
bitches, they just don't know.
They just don't know. They just don't. If everyone had McFlurries, the world would be a better place. I didn't even think... To this day, this is actually my first McFlurry. I just want to share that with you right now. I've never gone on my way to buy anything at McDonald's recently, and certainly not ice cream, which is probably not real ice cream, but, I don't look at gift McFlurry in the mouth.
It will never melt.
Is it? Probably not. Alright, I'm going to put this down for a second. Alright. Do you feel... there's one major critique with the film where they feel sadly the one victim outside of Sandro, the hostage that does get shot, her story gets underplayed a bit, but that's not and people go like, what about her? We should learn more about her. It's like, It's not her story. And, you know, it is tragic what happens to her, and it's rough, but people who say that, and I've read it a few places, miss the complete point. And it's like the people who say that are enraged, like, why are we talking about him? It's like, you're the people who don't see him, and that you totally miss the point of the documentary. And we're not, you know, saying that, you know, she doesn't deserve, you know, her side, you know, told or whatnot, but that's a different movie, and that's not this movie. And that kind of annoys me when I read that in certain circles, because I read too much, actually. But I digress. What else was I gonna say here? Well, the movie was directed by a man named Jose Padilla. This was his first film and his only documentary. Interesting footnote.
I would have never guessed that.
You would never guess this was his first or his last?
First.
No, it is his first.
I was being sarcastic, though.
Oh.
Was that monotone?
Sarcasm is hard to read on the radio. You have to roll your eyes when you say it, and then we have to hear your eyes roll. That wasn't a pussy belch.
It was not a little pussycat.
I let out a little pussy belch earlier today. What'd you call me? A pussy dog or a pussy puppy? Pussy puppy? Puppy puss? Whatever. I don't care. I digress. Again, I keep on digressing till there's nothing left. Jose Padilla would go on to make a movie called Elite Squad, which ended up being like the biggest film in Brazil ever. And there was a sequel. It became even bigger. His next film came out last year and was the RoboCop remake. Did you see that?
Nope.
Okay, neither did I. Co-host Rob is the biggest RoboCop fan on the planet, and I know for a fact he is not a big fan of the remake. I'm not sure if he's seen Elite Force or even this documentary, but he was very disappointed.
I think the movie industry is running out of ideas.
No, they're out. Tapped.
Stop robbing the comic industry and the graphic novel industry.
Well, that's why we got The Wedding Ringer.
What a ringer!
Brilliant. Now, let's think of a sequel. No, let's not. Let's say we did. Alright, let's go. Here. Okay, this movie opened in October 2002. Same month, we got Kill Bill, Volume 1. The Richard Linklater, Jack Black film School of Rock. And the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake with Jessica Biel.
Sweet, but that's not what we watched.
No, that's true, but I'm just trying to set a timeline for you. That's all I'm saying. Alright.
And you said it well, my friend.
I did. They did actually they actually made a film adaptation of the instance that happened on the bus 174. I believe it's called The Man on the Bus. I could be wrong, but it's a dramatization of the events. Would you want to see a dramatization of the dramatization? Are you playing with nuts?
Yeah, I'm playing with nuts.
Stop. Put your nuts down.
Damn.
God, you're all about them nuts. All right. Do you feel a story like this is best conveyed in a documentary, or would not fictionalization, but
no, they always screw it up.
Dramatization.
No, it needs to be in a documentary form. Something like this is real world.
Yeah, I didn't feel
It does not need a veil over it.
Yeah, I actually find documentaries that actually use reenactments annoying as hell. So that's what it would feel like to me, just one big reenactment of a story I'm already familiar with. So when documentaries use it, I always think it's just lazy. A lot of people disagree. A lot of well-regarded documentaries, Man on Wire, Touching the Void, use a lot of recreations. But I just think, if you're going to do that, just make the goddamn movie.
I don't think we give people enough credit, and I know that people don't want to see blood and guts and rarely ever see, death these days. It's probably around 200 years since we commonly saw death in our culture. But I think it's almost good for us if we did see something like that to know what's going on, and instead of just forgetting about it and being fixated on pop culture. I mean, this guy that was in the bus, Sandro, right? Sandro. All he wanted to do was be famous. He's in a third world country and he wants to be famous.
He succeeded. That event was the most watched news event in Brazil history. It's basically their O.J. Simpson.
McFlurry is dripping from your mustache. Please fix that. And it's on your shirt. Get it.
You love it. You love it when I rub it all over my shirt. Don't fall in love.
What are you doing? Stop.
You won't be able to control yourself. I get it. I'll stop.
Just stop.
I can't. Once it starts. Okay. You're going to take my shirt off next. Watch out. You don't want that. Shut up. Don't say anything.
Not gonna.
Okay.
Stare at you awkwardly. Continue.
What else is new? Alright, what was I getting at? Oh. Well, interesting you note the people don't want to see the violence. And that, in an instance, may be the reason why no one took the shot. In fact, it probably was the main reason that when snipers had the open shot is because the government basically were the only people who were actually talking.
Had to censor it.
It's like, there's people watching on TV. You can't blow a guy's head off, because you'll upset somebody. The fact of the matter is, some innocent ultimately died because we didn't want to upset people who were watching a hostage situation on the news. And that brings me to...
so glad you brought that up.
It actually brings me back. This may be before your time. I may be showing your age. But one of the first events I ever remember watching live on television, like one of those, like, we interrupt this, show to bring this news thing. First thing I actually remember was the Challenger blowing up, the space shuttle. But the second thing I remember vividly, we live in Sacramento, and in Sacramento there was this electronics store called the Good Guys that was basically taken hostage by four. I want to say they were Vietnamese. They were of some Asian descent, but basically they took the store hostage. And they had demands, which included helicopters and whatnot. And they placed everybody... So the entrance to the store had basically the see-through doors, like glass doors. And they lined up all the hostages. And basically... God, I've been saying basically a lot. Basically.
Don't judge yourself, just continue.
Basically, I just gotta stop saying basically. Okay. Basically, I'm done. Here we go. Basically. So... It went, well into the night. They actually, they sent a guy to give them a message, and they shot him in the leg, which was seen on television. And what ultimately happened was somebody, I believe a sniper of some sort, tried to shoot one of the main assailants with a gun, shattered the window, missed, but then the image that's of course completely burned in my memory is one of the hostage takers. All the hostages were sitting down, and he runs across, and he's shooting them as he runs across. So basically you're watching people just get executed. I'm all of like 9. And you don't forget that. But would have been worth it to, as long as, could have been prevented, could we have watched one of the hostage takers' heads get blown off, so these people may live? I think I could have lived with that, because what I saw was a whole lot worse. That was a long way to get to a short point, but I got there, and I make no...
I'm glad you shared that with me.
Yeah, I should show you the footage so you can go. There's certain things you just can't unsee in life, like decapitations.
Well, after watching some of the ISIS video, I think I'm pretty much stained.
Why would you watch that?
The internet is a cruel place.
You go down that rabbit hole, you're gonna stumble. You ever see Two Girls, One Cup?
Yeah, that was funny.
You ever see Glass Ass?
Oh my god, that guy! The poor. I say poor because I just feel bad for anyone who's that stupid, but I shouldn't. I mean, this is a rush. We're completely getting off the point, but I want to do it, and I'm going for it. So he's a Russian guy, and you can't scream, because anyone who's gay will not immediately, but eventually get executed in Russia. And so this guy, he has his family in the other room, and he's shoving a jar up his freaking ass.
But best time to do it is.
Yeah.
And make sure you're videotaping it.
But he was quiet when it broke.
He was so calm.
And as he was pulling it out, he barely made a noise. Like, that is a badass motherfucker. I don't care if he shoved a jar up his ass. It broke, and he didn't scream. The fact they videotaped it and then eventually put it on the internet makes me think that he's probably dead, regardless of the glass shattering in his butt.
You know what?
Oh.
He's wherever he is, probably a better place.
Yeah. A better place than that. Oh, I feel really bad for his family.
Oh, who will weep for glass ass's family? Lily will.
Oh, God, it must... Oh.
All right. I think we're going to wrap it up
Too
today.
much.
All right. Theme music provided by Austin Graham. To hear more, check out his Facebook, SoundCloud, or YouTube page by typing Austin Oz Graham. That is Austin like the city, Oz like the wizard, Graham like the cracker. Special thanks to engineer Travis, without whom I would essentially be talking to myself right now. Lily, unlike the other co-hosts, you may actually have sites you might want to plug. Do you feel like plugging anything?
Lily Moon Studio on Facebook and Instagram. Follow me.
There you go. Lily Moon Studio. Instagram, Facebook. Throw it in a Google. Just say Lily Moon Art. Lily Moon Art, will that pull up your stuff?
Yeah.
Alright, do that. You'll like what you see. We will end this episode. I figured it's a bit fitting that we will end this episode with some Brazilian death metal. I want you to enjoy the face melting by the band Lacerated and Carbonized as they perform the song called The Candleria Massacre, which is the church, which we didn't even get into. There's side note. Church where Sandra was staying, there was a massacre, cops shot a bunch of kids. This Brazilian death metal band wrote a song about it. So
Hold on. This movie was so heavy that we couldn't cover this in 3 hours.
there you go. Enough said. 497th greatest film of all time, ladies and gentlemen. So until next time, I guess we'll say until next time, my invisible.
Will you please go? Come on, do it.
No.
Please.
No, I'm not.
Please, Jeffrey.
That's somebody else's.
I'm asking you very nicely.
You can do it.
Nope.
No, this is how I. All right.
Come on.
No.
Do it.
No.
Do it.
That's all,
Do it.
folks.
No, come on.
That's all, folks.
That's so rude.
I bid you adieu.